When you're more in the work mode and, say, putting out stuff and doing things like that, what does a typical day look like for you?
I'm working at home, essentially. So I'm up very early, and my wife gets up 5:30 every morning. So we're up early, and we do the coffee thing and get my breakfast on, and then I take a slow start, check all my emails. I ramp up pretty slowly. And if it's a session day, that usually starts at 10:30 or 11. Either going down to Pilsen Studio, which is down the street, or I'm staying at my place at my home studio, or if it's an outside studio, I take off and load my gear up and I go down there. And then those are session days. And then if I don't have a session day, I'll have dates, do about 50, 60 dates a year. So I'll leave on a Thursday, come back on a Sunday or Monday with Lynch Mob, or combination Lynch Mob and Dokken, guesting and that kind of stuff. And that's probably the hardest thing on me, like traveling. It's just the challenges of traveling like that and working like that is it's hard on the body for all of us. So I try to stay healthy and eat healthy. We just went out last weekend, and we did 2 shows, and it was my band, Lynch Mob, Electric Freedom, whatever. We're transitioning back to Lynch Mob. And
you're transitioning back to Lynch Mob?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. What's that about?
Well, it's just, a brand I've established for decades, obviously, and over 3 decades. And it's, nothing's perfect. And I've got to just live with the fact that it has some negative connotations that I probably have to continue explaining for the rest of my life. I don't mind doing that. But it is a brand that I built, and I'm just going to stick with it. It's as far as a marketing thing and a brand thing and a business thing and a working thing, and it keeps my band guys working and keeps the fans happy. It makes sense. I really felt when I adopted Electric Freedom that I was really going against the grain more than keeping the name, the old name. I really felt a lot more resistance than I'd ever felt having Lynch Mob. That was actually the reality of it. Because a lot of people, nobody really liked it. And I didn't like living with that. It was just kind of uncomfortable. It's like, okay, well, we just got to put up with George's decision here to do this, but nobody agrees with it. We're not comfortable with it. It had a sort of a disingenuous ring to it. As much as my motives were pure, I felt honest. I just never caught on all kinds of levels. So,
besides the obvious, though, is the reasons why you changed it in the first place. I mean, were you actually having negative comments towards Lynch Mob, or was that just because of the kind of climate of shit nowadays?
I may have had a few in the 35 years it's been around, but I'd say probably the most negative criticism I've had of it came from me. So I was my own worst critic with the name, especially in later years, but had a lot more criticism from Electric Freedom.
You see like a LA Guns or a Great White, or the people who get the actual brand, or Dokken. I mean, just where it seems to make all the difference in the world, right?
Well, bands go out without any original members and can play those songs. I mean, anybody can play any songs. I mean, I don't know. People in the lay world understand this, but people sometimes ask me that question. Oh, can you play this? And can you play it? Anybody can play anything. It's called cover bands. You can go out and play. I can play U2 songs if I want. Nobody can stop me.
Just like really the Pantera one is, where you're like, okay, those guys can go out, play as Phil Anselmo and Rex Rocker or whatever, and being able to brand it as Pantera makes all the difference in the world financially.
Yeah, that's everything. I play with Pancho Tomaselli in different projects from War, and that War doesn't have any original members. It's owned by some guy that lives in Malibu, and he's rich, and he just hires the band members and works them, and it's just a kind of a corporate thing. And a lot of bands are like that.
It almost seems like everybody's like checking the news and the internet and stuff like that. But I think the obvious thing when that comes to be is a lot of people don't give a shit. So they'll be like, okay, it's Dokken. I remember Dokken, and they're not all caught up in the who's who business of it.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's a brand. I mean, nobody wants Coke to change their recipe. Just stay the same, and that's what you've built over the years. Why would you? I mean, why would you change it? Is a rhetorical question. Why I'm probably not more successful in some ways in my career is because I followed my aspirations musically rather than sometimes be smart about just sticking to the plan, you know. So I'll put out a Smoke This record or a Souls of Lee record or a Project Infidelica record, and everybody will get mad at me and they'll be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? What's he smoking? But I love those records. They were so fun and they were so, but you know what? You have to sit back and think, wait a minute, am I doing this for my fun? Or am I supposed to serve the people that I've worked so hard to retain as fans all my life? Do I have an obligation to them? Yeah, you do. So there's this kind of balancing act I'm still trying to achieve.